All right, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Robert Greene Book Club. And today we're going to be talking about how to poeticize your presence. And this is from the chapter of The Art of Seduction, chapter 12, on how to poeticize your presence. And this chapter is very important because a lot of people, it's almost like the perfect example of poeticizing your presence was like Michael Jackson, Prince, where if you saw them in real life, you would never recognize them how you see them on stage. And we all are in front of the stage, and that's the stage of life. And unfortunately, a lot of us do not put a lot of attention on our presence. If you watch my older videos, you'll notice I didn't put a lot on my presence. And unfortunately, it did affect my channel. And so we're going to talk about how to poeticize your presence in a romantic way, in a workplace type of way, in a political way. And this will give you such an advantage on creating first impressions, such an advantage on creating the right projection that you want the person to see you as, that it could almost make or break a seduction, okay? And if you guys want to become part of the Robert Greene Book Club, you guys can just go to my Patreon by clicking on the description down below, and there you get access to the full library of the Robert Greene videos. I've been doing this for about a few years now. So I don't know how many I have. I think I have a few dozen of Robert Greene videos that are like over an hour. So just go there, check it out. You know, you can check out all the content and then unsubscribe if you want. It's no big deal. Okay? So let's begin with this video.
Essential to any success. There is no reversal. Details are essential to any successful seduction and cannot be ignored.
All right, this is the chapter.
Chapter 12. Poeticize your presence. Important things happen when your targets are alone. The slightest feeling of relief that you are not there, and it is all over. Familiarity and overexposure will cause this reaction. Remain elusive then, so that when you're away, they will yearn to see you again.
What he just said about anytime there's relief when you're not around, that's not good. Holy freaking crap. I'm looking at the light. Holy crap, is that true? Looking at the light. I've had experiences. Anytime I had an experience where when the woman left, I breathed and said, thank God she's gone. She definitely overexposed herself. She definitely did things that made me feel suffocated with her presence. And a lot of times, in my opinion, when you give that impression to people, it's simply because you don't give people enough space. You might talk too much. You might demand too much attention, right? And that happens a lot. And so you're putting too much pressure on the person. Like I've dated women who would visit me, who I will fly them out. I don't care about flying women out, people. And they would come visit me, but they want to spend 24/7 with me. And me, I'm a nice person, okay? I have a tough time telling you, hey man, leave me the hell alone. Let me do something on my own. I do say it now more than before, but I'm a nice guy. And so I would internalize it and hold it in. I wouldn't tell her, but they would notice that I was a little bit colder with them, you know? And it was because they just weren't giving me space. If they were actually reading me, I'm not asking them to read my mind. I sound like a woman. But if they were actually reading me, they would sense that maybe I need some space. Everyone has an inner sensor, right? If you actually pay attention and stop thinking, you'll notice there's a bunch of sensations that you feel as a result of this person. If you actually pay attention, you'll start noticing a more detailed experience of different senses that arise as you talk to people. And sometimes you can even sense when your presence is too much and you need to pull away a little bit. We all have that because when we were children, people gave us a vibe about them. You know, children had vibes. They had visceral reactions to certain people, and we still have that ability. We just think too much, and we don't rely on our prehistoric abilities to be able to sense people's presence.
And will associate you only with pleasant thoughts. Occupy their minds by alternating an exciting presence with a cool distance, exuberant moments followed by calculated absences. Associate yourself with poetic images and objects so that when they think of you,
So it's almost like they are... Oh my God, this is so good, honestly. So it's almost like you are... what do you call... What's that phrase you're almost curating their experience with you, right? And what he said about associating yourself with different figures. For example, right? It's funny how that works, right? I've always been a Buddhist. I've always been spiritual, and I've always practiced Buddhism, to be honest with you. But it's not something that I tell people, right? It's not something that I advertise. It's not something that, when I was younger, if you saw me, you wouldn't tell that I practice meditation, right? And so when people would meet me, they would judge me based on how I talked, and I talked in a very vulgar way, to be honest with you. But as soon as I started being more honest with people and telling people that I did Buddhism, and I would sometimes, I had a shirt with the Buddha. If you went to my apartment during that time, you saw like a picture of the Buddha. I swear to God, people actually started. It's not that they trusted me more, but they started treating me differently. They started coming to me with their problems more. They started, there's almost like I became that guy that you talk to when you had problems. Not like a simp type of way, but you know what I'm saying. And the funny thing is that the reason why is because they began associating me with the Buddha. Like they had that positive association, right? And you could do that by, for example, like Christians. How do you know someone's a Christian? And how do you know that you could relate to them on a Christian level? Sometimes they wear a cross. Sometimes they say certain things, but there are certain cues that you can send out into the world that will gain the trust of certain individuals automatically, right? You can have there are certain visual cues, maybe certain hairstyles, right? Maybe certain tattoos, maybe certain ways of dressing that communicates to certain people that you belong to a certain tribe, or even dressing in a way. For example, don't you ever wonder why all the cult leaders who say that they're Jesus, dress like Jesus, right? They all have the long beard. And you ask yourself, why are people falling for that? Isn't that obvious that this dude is not Jesus? Well, the thing is that humans are visual creatures. And because we're visual creatures, the fact that you look like Jesus, humans cannot help but to project certain emotions they had for Jesus Christ onto that person that kind of looks like Jesus. It's like big, fat, white man with a beard that looked like Santa Claus. Like me, I had a therapist that looked like Santa Claus. Because like Santa Claus was always like a nice little happy, chubby, warm figure that gives you gifts, right? And so those associations, projections, you could do that through the way that you dress, like I said. Like in other words, stereotypes, right? There are certain ways that people dress that you automatically associate things with them, positively or negatively. You get what I'm saying? All right, let's keep listening.
Begin to see you through an idealized halo. The more you figure in their minds, the more they will envelop you in seductive fantasies. Feed these fantasies by subtle inconsistencies and changes in your behavior. Poetic presence or absence.
So another part, because I just talked about symbolism, poeticizing your presence, right, is also enhancing your presence. And like he said, you can enhance your presence by just being absent and not over suffocating them with your presence. All right, guys, we're going to have a brief intermission so that I could tell you guys about our new bundle that we're doing, where you guys can purchase all of my courses and get it at a discount. So this bundle is pretty much the bundle where you could just buy all of my courses. You could buy Nice Guy, which is a training course on how to come across more assertive, how to come across more confident, how to not give off nice guy vibes. You guys can get access to Dark Game, which is my folk dating course on how to meet women in different scenarios, how to attract women, how to make sure you don't come across as creepy, and essentially how to act like a man and not act like a doofus, to be quite honest with you. And you get all of these bonuses, which is the bonuses of Dark Game, the bonuses of Practical Mastery, which is about how to master a skill, Social Mastery, which is how to master your social life, and the Laws of Human Nature, which is a book club videos that I had dissecting Robert Greene's book. All of this is naturally at around naturally is at $346, but you guys can purchase this bundle and get it at what's the price again? Get it at
$238 pretty much. So you guys can purchase it right now. It's a money back 30-day money back guarantee. It's a good way to, rather than just buying them individually and paying extra, you guys can just purchase everything at a discount price. Now, the only thing I don't like is the fact that I'm giving you a lot of information at the same time. That makes me kind of scared, because a lot of times people don't do the things that I teach when you get too much information. But I've gotten too many requests to do this, so I'm just satisfying you guys. Purchase it right now by clicking on the description down below where it says purchase the bundle. All right, let's continue with the video.